John McGrain and I think Ken Whitehead.
Yeah. I would have to feel, Gil, that the Aztecs have had to have a good talk in the dressing room at half-time because and they're not controlling the midfield. They're very, very shaky in the back, and Dallas have looked definitely the more dangerous side. I think that we might be able to get Steve David a little bit more loose if Desi Backus can come up more, and if Bobby McAlinden maybe could move up into an attacking role, because they're marking him very tightly with Thompson back there and Petcher, who are doing quite a good job on David and blocking him out, and there's no way they seem to be able to get him released.
Incidentally, the Aztecs have never won in Dallas since the series begun.
Well, they're due.
Overdue.
Overdue.
All right, the Dallas Tornado now, after the Aztecs had the opening kickoff, trying to volley it about, passing over to Hinton on the near side at midfield. Hinton ahead to Kyle Rote into the penalty area, but Bob Rigby comes out, rolls it off to the left. Over to Ani Mahavlich. Mahavlich starting down the left side, coming into the middle third of the field, and then plays a long ball ahead to Des Bacos. Bacos getting by one man, drives it in and across the mouth of the goal and all the way over into the far corner where it goes out of bounds. Did it go over the sideline or over the end line? I think it's over the goal line, so it'll be a goal kick for Dallas. Ken Cooper. Ken Cooper is 34 years old. He holds the league career record of 40 shutouts. 3 times he's been all league. And in 1974, he had 435 consecutive shutout minutes.
Having a great season this year, too. All reports out of Dallas are that he's having an outstanding year.
Ball at midfield to Ryan. Played up to the Aztecs 35 to O'Hare. O'Hare trapping it and then passing it back. And now we got a free kick coming up.
We have a holding foul against...
In the danger zone.
That was a dangerous situation. The ball was played very quickly by Mernick, and O'Hare was away and running. The Aztecs were a bit sloppy there, not marking on that free kick, and it could have been a little bit more dangerous if O'Hare's pass had been a little bit better.
Played by Rigby, over to Mahavlich. Mahavlich back to Rigby. Bobby bringing it up now, and then really tossing it. Oh man, what an arm on this guy, all the way to midfield. Played ahead to Des Bacos. Bacos trying to make a turn to the left now. He is taken down and taken down hard. You could hear almost the crash as he and Max Thompson ran together.
We've got a free kick against Max Thompson for fouling back Des Bacos. Des pushed the ball, was using his speed. Thompson took him out. And I think we've got a direct free kick. No,
we've got a throw in instead.
I thought he would have given a free
back
kick.
Back it comes to midfield. Bobby Sybil chipping it up in the air. Bacos playing it over to Cohen. The linesman indicating offside.
Yeah, the linesman was right in line, he's indicating, but Backus, he seemed to be, when Backus released the ball, Cohen seemed to be in on the onside position, but he did signal it. And
Cooper throwing it across on the far side. Meyernick playing it to midfield. Mahavlich kicking it straight up in the air and into the seats on the far side of the field. No score in the game, nothing. 42 minutes and 1 second left to play in regulation time. They play 2 45-minute halves in soccer. Non-stop action. Volleying it about at midfield now. Pesher over to Lay. Lay trying to make a move on Cohen, then plays it up to Cooley. Cooley over the 35, and a sliding tackle by Johnny Mason takes him down, and out of bounds it goes. So with no score in the game, we'll have more soccer action after this message. Norm Jackson, yours truly, Gil Stratton, back in Dallas where there's no score in the game between the Aztecs and the Tornado. Long ball played by Dallas down to the Aztecs end and played over to the goalkeeper, Rigby. Rigby rolling it in front of him now as he comes out and throws onto the left wing side to Ani Mahavlich. Mahavlich over his 35, coming into the middle third of the field. Down the left wing side, passing it ahead to Des Bakos. Bakos sliding tackle the ball back to Mahavlich. And now Mahavlich playing it back over his own 35 and back to Bob Rigby, the goalkeeper, in his penalty area. We might mention also that while we were in commercial, Bobby McAlinden of the Aztecs received a yellow card. There was no real action going on. I think he just said something to the referee.
Well, that's what happened, Gil. Actually, there was a foul given against Johnny Mason, and Bobby McAlinden said something as he passed the referee, and he certainly booked him for it. The referee's done an outstanding job tonight. It's kept the game well under control, I feel, and I feel that his calls have been fair and for both sides.
Ball still at midfield in the possession of Dallas now. Long pass down into the corner intended for Hinton. He cannot run after it, and out of bounds it goes, and we'll have a throw in now for the Aztecs. Throw in goes directly to Bob Rigby, the goalkeeper, in his penalty area. He is marked very closely there by O'Hare. And right at the corner, the right-hand corner, he kicks it out to midfield. Cooley playing it again into O'Hare. Back to Cooley. Ball in the middle of the field now. Cooley looking for help. Passes, and it's intercepted by Bernie Fagan of the Aztecs. He gets it to McAlinden. McAlinden losing the ball now and coming right after is Cooley. But Mason now has it as it comes off of Bobby Sybil. Martin Cohen not able to control that one, and it goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. And Rigby now bringing it out. And another tremendous throw, and I mean, they talk about throwing a football in American football, some 60 yards on the fly. He throws a bullet. O'Hare to Hinton. Hinton taking his shot, and it sails over the top of the goal. Bob Rigby was right there. He had his eye on it all the way, and that's going to result in a goal kick for the Aztecs.
No, it's a corner kick, Gil. It was deflected off one of the Aztecs at the last minute, and we do have a corner kick.
Oh, thank you. It'll be Hinton to take the corner from the far corner. O'Hare is right in front of the goal now.
This guy pinpoints these passes in from the corner kick.
It's an in-swinger now. Headed up in the air. And a free kick is awarded to the Aztecs. I think he came over the top that time.
Max Thompson was charged for fouling against Terry Mancini.
Very similar to some of the fouls that have been called on Ron Davies.
That's right. They all do it.
Taking another look now.
Oh, there we go, yeah. It's where we go. A good shot by Murnick, and it was deflected off Bobby McAlinden's foot, and it was given the corner kick on that replay.
All right, back to the live action now. As Dallas in possession of the soccer ball at midfield. Over to Hinton. Hinton trying to get it into Ryan. Ryan retreating from Davies. Now Davies working his way back. Meyernick taking a long ball. And into the middle where Rigby diving after the ball as Kyle Rote came running in there, and they made pretty good contact.
Rigby's taking quite a beating in that goal mouth tonight from Kyle Rote and the other players. Dallas is having a good go at him.
Let's take another look at that, Norman. Off the free kick, the Aztecs now. Here we go.
Here we go. It goes into number 7.
That's Ryan.
Ryan plays it to Murnick. Murnick putting these deep crosses in. Contact was made onto Rigby by Kyle Rote. Rigby had to make a second effort. I would have detected a free kick against that because he did run into Rigby on the play. I'm surprised the referee didn't give that one because it did look to me to be a foul. And it looks like Rigby's hurting a little bit.
All right, the throw in by the Aztecs. McAlinden playing it back to Bobby Sybil now. Sybil right-footing it into the penalty area, but Cooper is there, and offside was called as Johnny Mason was way offside.
I don't know whether Al Miller's detected something in Bob Rigby over the years he's had him, but funny enough, they're putting these balls in and they're really challenging him. Whether it's because of his layoff or there's something that he's weak in that area, but they're certainly putting a lot of pressure onto him tonight.
Ball at midfield now. No score in the game. Johnny Mason tackled down, but the ball goes back to Bobby Sybil of the Aztecs. Sybil chips it forward, headed by Martin Cohen to Bernie Fagan. Fagan coming across the 35-yard line, and down he goes from behind as Cooley took him down, and that's going to result in a free kick for the Aztecs.
I'm a bit surprised he didn't give Cooley the card there, because at that point, he has done it now, because Cooley twice, he took down Johnny Mason first, and he took down Bernie Fagan, and if he doesn't caution him on it, what are you doing? You're going to get a retaliation by the Aztec players. So he has booked him now. He's booked Cooley.
All right, Bobby Sybil is going to take the free kick. Little strategy downfield as Mahavlich staying down there with Kyle Road, who is way down as like a lonesome end at the Aztecs end of the field.
The referee's bringing him back the 10 yards. We've asked for the 10 yards. Now the whistle goes.
Two-man wall. Chipped into the middle. Steve David going after it with his head. Can't get it. Shot taken by Johnny Mason. He did not have what you'd call a real fine angle that time.
No.
So it's going to be a goal kick coming up. With the score 0-0, we'll have more soccer action after this message. With 33 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in a scoreless second half, no score in the game at all. Ball up in the air. Des Bacos now getting it over to Martin Cohen, but kicked out of harm's way that time by Steve Pesher of Dallas. Down to the far end of the field as Kyle Rote Jr. then plays it back to Ryan. Ryan chipping it into Turner. Turner square pass over to Lay, right in the middle of the field in the center circle. He works it forward there to Turner. Turner's got Meyernick on his right. He passes into the middle over the 35. And Arnie Mahavlich going over onto the far side and lets it go out of bounds, so it'll be a throw-in for the Aztecs.
Well, Jim Ryan hoped that Meyernick would have moved a little bit faster, coming overlapping from the fullback position, which he didn't do, and the ball went out of bounds.
Mahavlich, a long throw, trying to get it to Steve David. David marked very closely there. And it was Max Thompson marking him, or checking him, or guarding him. In soccer, they say marking.
Marking tight. And Steve lost control of it, and he went out of bounds for a throw-in to Dallas.
Meyernick throwing it in long over the 35-yard line into the Aztecs' end, where Ron Davies lets it roll out. And now we're going to have a throw-in for the Aztecs. Bobby Sybil to throw it in. He's got Mahavlich with him, but instead throws up to Bacos. And I tell you, Meyernick is all over Bacos.
Bacos shields the ball very, very well. He keeps his body between it, but Meyernick was having a good go at him back there.
Here it comes to Steve David at midfield now. Ryan getting it away. And we have a whistle blowing and a free kick awarded to the Aztecs, I believe.
No, I think it's a throw-in. It might be a free kick, yeah, the way they're moving, it could be. It might be a throw-in, though, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be Bobby Sybil.
Oh,
no, it's a free kick.
It is a free kick.
We were right the first time.
Sorry.
Okay. Down the left wing side, it goes to Bacos. Bacos doing some fancy dribbling now as he crosses, coming out of the 35 into the middle field. Over to Bobby McAlinden. McAlinden now looking. A lead pass to Mahavlich. Mahavlich flying down the left wing side, trying to work it into the penalty area. Get a shot away, can't do it as it goes over the goal line. And this is going to be a goal kick now for Ken Cooper of Dallas. The Aztecs are training at Hollywood Park this season, and fans are reminded that the racing season is in full swing right now at the park through mid-July. Did you watch that Kentucky Derby this afternoon? Seattle slew some kind of a great colt. Be interesting to see what he can do in the races ahead. Here's a long shot taken to Cooper. Cooper throwing this one onto the right wing side over to Marnick. Bobby McAlinden marking him. McAlinden stealing the ball away, passing it back to Mahavlich. Ani now approaching the 35, closely marked by Ryan. Little give and go that time, finally broken up by Turner. Turner passing it down to O'Hare. O'Hare trying to get in for the shot. He works his way in. And Terry Mancini doing a good job, and the steam was taken out of it, and Bob Rigby had no trouble making the save.
The thing was, though, that resulted in a very bad play up at the midfield stripe between Bobby McAlinden.
Here they come again now, but headed back into midfield by Turner now. Turner passing it back to Lay. Lay at midfield, looking, feinting. Passing down the left wing side where Bobby Sybil is waiting for it. He keeps it inbounds on the near side. Kicks it, and it goes right off of Cooley. A throw-in for Bobby Sybil of the Aztecs. No score in the game, 29 minutes, 32 seconds. You know, it's an interesting thing when you talk about a scoreless tie. The Aztecs, coming into the game, the highest scoring team in the league with 13 goals, and a total of 16 goals were scored in last year's 3 meetings between the Aztecs and the Tornado.
Well, it certainly was. It's a high-scoring game. Dallas have always been a good scoring team themselves. So have the Aztecs. But again, tonight, we're not seem to get the punch. And I have to feel that the Aztecs must start to get dominating in this midfield, and we're not having it. The midfield's not got hold of this game properly.
This is McAlinden now. McAlinden losing it to Cooley. Back it goes to O'Hare. Here comes Ron Davies taking a nice run at it now. Here comes one of the BVDs, the British veteran defenders, playing it into the left side to Des Bakos. Bakos chipping it into the penalty zone and kicked out of there by Steve Pesher. Aztecs sending it back in to Martin Cohen. Cohen going the ball and trying to pass it into Bernie Fagan or Johnny Mason, but instead the goalkeeper, Ken Cooper, throws it out onto the right wing side to Ryan. Ryan passing it back into Turner now, right at midfield. He's in the center circle on the midfield stripe. Now a pass onto the left wing side to Lay. Lay marked by Martin Cohen. Lay finally playing it back this time to Pesher. Pesher takes a long ball now into the zone. Dallas. Kyle Rote kicks it in. He scores. Kyle Rote. Rigby had made the first save, but then Kyle Rote followed it up and kicked it in. With 28 minutes and 3 seconds left to play in the game. So the goal coming in the 62nd minute by Kyle Rote Jr. of the Dallas Tornado. So we'll have more soccer action after this message. Kyle Rote's goal, the only goal of the game so far, unassisted, and 1-0. The Dallas Tornado leads. Here it is again.
Good ball pushed through there. There's George Lay. Got the ball. Delaying the situation. He's drawing Martin Cohen to him. Pushes back over the center line. Steve Petcher puts a long ball through. A hesitation. Rigby made the first save, but the hesitation was in the defense there. It looked like Bobby McAlinden.
All right, we come back to the live action now. The ball coming out of bounds on the near side. Dallas now Lay with the throw-in for the Tornado. He plays it back to Pesher. Pesher, number 4.
The Aztec defense looked very susceptible on that goal, Gil. It's they've got to tighten that area up, or else they'll be in more trouble with this.
Ball still at midfield. If memory serves me correctly, this is the first time this year that the Aztecs have been behind.
That's right. And it's a bad time to be behind with such midway through the second period. They must start to get, again, a grip on this midfield part, and they're not doing it. They'll have to start pushing somebody up into the attacking zone now. They can't play with just two forwards being behind.
Bobby Sybil playing it now to Bobby McAlinden, or rather Johnny Mason to Bernie Fagan. Fagan on the right wing side. Long ball into the corner. And out of bounds it goes. And the throw-in will be by Dallas.
At this time, the Dallas Tornadoes scored the goal here at Angel Stadium this season. You'll see a big star go up on the Tigers scoreboard located at the north end of the field.
Of a pushing foul against Ron Davies at that point, pushing off. The referee detected it and been called. Be a direct free kick, just over, the Dallas side of the center line.
Crazy George from San Jose is here beating his drum. I think he had so much fun last week he wanted to come back.
That's right.
Play a long ball into the penalty area. And it is played by Sybil back to the goalkeeper, Rigby.
It's pretty rough inside that box tonight. There's a lot of pushing going on. There's a lot of physical contact, and the referee's staying right on top of it all.
Rigby up to Mahavlich. Mahavlich playing a long ball. And Bobby McAlinden trying to control it, but you say he went out of bounds, and so the throw-in is going to be by Meyernick. Meyernick over to Turner. Here comes Turner. He chips it across onto the near side where Hinton is waiting for it. Hinton plays it ahead to the 35-yard line. Terry Mancini booting it up in the air, but headed back by Hinton. Then Mancini trapping it off the knee and plays it back to Ron Davies. Davies over to Bernie Fagan. Fagan back into Sybil. Kyle Rote all over the place there, and they finally play it back to Rigby in the goal, and he rolls it onto the left side over to Mahavlich. Now Ani taking a run at it as he comes up to the 35-yard line, chips it to midfield. And Johnny Mason chasing after it. Johnny Mason, number 16, the first graduate of the American Youth Soccer Organization to play professional. Makes his home in Torrance. Plays it up to David, but just as it gets across the penalty box, it's kicked out and cleared by the Dallas Tornado onto the far side where we have a throw-in. Mahavlich to throw it in, and he plays it into Ron Davies.
Problem
Davies
being,
over to Terry Mancini. Excuse me, no.
Sorry, Gil. But the problem is Davies got 4 men around him when they put this ball to him all the time.
Here's the long ball to Steve David. David taking the shot, and a diving save by Ken Cooper as he dives to his right.
That's the first challenge we've seen, serious challenge by the Aztecs, and a good save by Cooper. But every time they try to put the ball down, we have it.
And we have another throw-in coming up for the Aztecs.
Tape replay. Push the ball down. David collects it with his right foot, turns with his right foot. If he'd have pulled it back just a little bit more, Des Bacchus would have had a real good effort at that. Just a little bit too close to Cooper.
From the free kick, it goes into McAlinden in the center circle. He plays it back to Bobby Sybil. Players are just wringing wet. It's a very humid night here as it comes into Martin Cohen. Cohen into the penalty box. A centering pass to Bacchus. Bacchus can't get the shot away, and it's cleared out by Dallas. Good effort that time by the Aztecs. It looked like they had something going that time, for sure.
Fine defensive play by Thompson, though. Thompson was there. He didn't give them a minute. When you try to bring that ball down in the box, there's a lot of people around, and Thompson just cleared the ball out, did his job very well. But the Aztecs are putting more of a threat on now. They seem to be sending up Martin Cohen a little bit more and Johnny Mason.
There's plenty of time left in the game, 21 minutes and 40 seconds to play. As the Aztecs working it down the left wing side into the corner and kicked out of bounds by Dallas. The throw in now from about 20 yards out on the far side to Bobby McAlinden. McAlinden into Ani Mahavlich now, who's overlapping. He gets it into the middle, but it's headed out of there by Lay. Out to Bernie Fagan. Fagan trying to run it in there, but couldn't do it. Headed out into the middle to Kyle Rote. Rote and Davies battling for the ball. Finally coming up with it is Cooley for Dallas. Cooley playing it to Kyle Rote. Rote taken down by Ani Mahavlich. And Mahavlich is going to get a card here if he's not careful. He was saying something to the referee. Very unhappy about the call.
Yeah, Ani felt that he played the ball, but he seemed to have made a contact. You see, you know, before the play was made, and I think it, you know, it certainly was a
I wouldn't mind seeing that one again. It looked to me like Arnie had him by the arm.
That's right. It did look a good call by the referee. But the Aztecs seem to be putting a little bit more pressure on now. But that situation there that Arnie had to foul the player on was a bad play by Ron. Ron should not have. He made a bad pass with the ball, and he created a situation which got the Aztecs caught on the wrong foot. Again, it's slackness on the Aztecs' part. They must tighten up.
The Aztecs forming a wall now just outside. They play it short, the Dallas does, and coming in as Lay takes a shot, bouncing off of Ron Davies, out to Bobby Sybil. Sybil ahead to Mason. Mason couldn't get to it as Myernick, but Bobby McAlinden gets it up to Mason. Mason flying down the left wing side with the ball, crossing the 35-yard line on the far or left wing side. Then he plays it back to Bobby McAlinden. McAlinden watching for Steve David. Finally, Ryan kicks it into midfield again, and McAlinden having to do it all over again. Gets it into Mason. Johnny Mason getting it into the penalty area, but headed out of there immediately by Turner, or rather by Thompson. And here comes Cooley over his 35-yard line, plays the long ball onto the far side, intended for Kyle Rote Jr., but it goes out of bounds, and Mahavlich will have the throw in for the Aztecs. He throws it in to Bobby Sybil. Sybil's at midfield. Sybil playing it forward to Martin Cohen. He's in the center circle now. It's a big red star in a white background. That's the prettiest thing you can say about this field. The rest of it looks like dirt and mud and hard, baked.
It's in poor condition, the field surface.
So, we will, with the score, the Dallas Tornado 1 and the Aztecs nothing. We'll have more Sacker action after this message. Ball at midfield now. Dallas attacking again. The Tornado keeping the pressure on the Aztecs. We only have 17 minutes and 41 seconds left in the game in regulation time, unless, of course, the Aztecs can tie it up. But Dallas really keeping the pressure on, Norm Jackson.
Oh, they certainly are. And it's being very evident that this midfield of the Aztecs is not getting a hold on this game. It's Bobby's got the ball now. He's trying to play it short, but
over to Des Bakos now. Bakos, and you ought to see, I don't know if you can see it on your screens at home, but his right leg and the middle of his jersey are just covered with mud. Perspiration and then on the dirt field. Here's Cooper. Bakos coming in from behind as he ran into Thompson, and Thompson, in a domino effect, went into Ken Cooper, the goalkeeper.
You know, Des was trying to stop. He wasn't that bad as it seemed on the television, but Des tried to stop himself from going into the back of. But it's his way of playing the game. He hustles on every ball.
Dallas playing it up to O'Hare now on the far side across the 35-yard line. Now they bring it back out to Ryan. Ryan chips it forward into the box where Mancini is waiting for it, shields the ball and lets it go over the end line, and that'll be a goal kick coming up now for the Aztecs.
Was again the the Aztecs have got to start making their move now with probably 16 minutes left in the game. They've got to start pushing these players up. You can't sit back and hope that you'll get a breakaway now. You've got to start bringing your midfield players up, putting more, probably 4 attackers up, and trying to get the tying goal. They need a tie badly.
Bakos over to McAlinden, back to Bakos now as he's marked by 2 men. Finally, Turner bringing the ball down and controlling it. He dribbles across midfield now. Bobby Sybil going after him, but it's passed into the middle. Over to Cooley. Martin Cohen comes in, and Bernie Fagan plays a long ball up to midfield over to Mason. Mason out of the far side to McAlinden. Bobby now plays the long ball, intended to get it into the area, but headed out of there by Pesher. Back to midfield. Now Ryan passing right into the center circle to Cooley. Cooley a pass onto the right wing where Meyernick is waiting for it. He's marked there by Johnny Mason, then goes by Mason. Meyernick still with the ball, plays it long and over the top of the goal and over everything.
This back 4 of Dallas is in total control, it seems to be, of this defensive end of the game.
So, with the score, Dallas 1 and the Aztecs nothing. We'll have more soccer action after this message. As we return to the live action now, the Aztecs trailing 1-0, 13 minutes and 48 seconds left to play in regulation time. We'd like to remind you the Aztecs will be home tomorrow afternoon at the Coliseum to host Atletico Español of Mexico. That game starts at 3 p.m. as it's played back to the goalkeeper, and a free kick is being awarded to Dallas Tornado, and Johnny Mason is just shaking his head in disbelief.
Well, Johnny thought he'd made a good tackle, and it was hard to see from here whether he did get the ball or whether he made contact with Hinton's foot. But the referee was right on top of the game, called it, and as we say, he's done a good job tonight, real good job.
Tony Nobile is the referee. Here's Hinton taking the shot. Goes, it's blocked, and O'Hare plays it back. This time to Turner, who plays it into Kyle Rote, who scores, but I believe there was an offside.
Yes, the referee had blown it, given the offside. But Kyle Rote did the right thing, though. Don't wait for the whistle, you know, get the, play it. You might have heard there's somebody in the crowd blowing the whistle.
He's going to get Rigby to retake this one.
That's right. I figure the Aztecs want to get the ball in very quickly, but they took it from the wrong position. Here's a free kick by Hinton. It rebounds back off O'Hare, pushes it back here to
Turner.
Turner puts the ball in. Kyle Rote was offside, chips it in though, but as we say, offside on the play.
Now we return to the live action, and you just saw that tremendous throw by Bob Rigby as Ron Davies disgustedly kicking the ball back.
It looks like the Aztecs are moving Ron Davies up into the forward position at the moment, and this is what they will need to get goals to try to get back in this game.
Kyle Rote's second goal of the season, the one that counted at 61-57, unassisted. The only goal of the game, and it's 1-0 as it's played long into the penalty area, headed out of there by Terry Mancini. Back to Cooley now, and then headed up by McAlinden. McAlinden to Des Bakos. Bakos over the center line. Now slowing down the play momentarily. Passing it on to the left wing to Johnny Mason. Mason trying to get it into the box now from the far side. Boots it, and it's headed up into the air. Ron Davies right there in front of the goal, but couldn't get it away. Martin Cohen kicking it up. Davies again trying to head it, but instead it was headed by Dallas as Max Thompson got his 6'1" frame underneath that one. And we have a tripping call. This time I believe it is against Jim Ryan.
No, he's given the foul against, it looks like Des Backus, I think, got the foul called on him. Again, it's seen a bit of a harsh decision, that one, because Backus did seem to play the ball. What the Aztecs have done, they've moved Davis up into midfield and dropped Des Backus into a midfield role with two strikers now with Backus and Davies and Ron David. Oh, Steve David.
Right,
Get
okay.
them mixed up. Davies and David.
Right. Terry Mancini playing this ball into the seats on the near side of the field.
I'm sure the fans remember that Ron Davies is the leading goal scorer in England, and he scored all his goals from the centre forward position. And Terry Fisher has moved him up into his old position now in the hope to get back in this game.
Ron Davies is the all-time leading scorer of active British players. There you see him. There's Ron Davies, number 9.
We got an offside call there where Martin Cohen was Dave Backus tried to get the ball over to Martin Cohen, and Martin was caught in an offside position.
Remember, tomorrow, Atletico Español. I'm sure all you Latin fans in Los Angeles will want to see this fine team from Mexico City test the Aztecs at the Coliseum. Game time is 3 p.m. The league games, of course, at 2 p.m. And a week from tomorrow, the Minnesota Kicks will be there. That's at 2 p.m. as the Aztecs return to North American Soccer League action. 9 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. And Johnny Mason went down. O'Hare.
O'Hare's a rough customer. He really throws his weight around in there.
Getting this one into Martin Cohen. Cohen, a centering pass now to Bobby Sybil. Sybil making a nice move. Still with the ball as he's got 3 tornadoes around him. Now Martin Cohen came in from behind to try to help him out. Gets the throw in over to Bernie Fagan. But the referee indicates that the throw in is going to be by Dallas.
Bobby Sybil's arguing the referee felt he was tripped there from behind, but Bobby created that situation there. We should have possibly tried to get it over to Martin Cohen and get the ball, so we could keep the attack going. Free kick against Bobby Sybil now for pushing off. It'll be a direct free kick. Dallas are not in too much of a hurry to get it in play with being ahead 1-0.
You get 6 points for a win in the North American Soccer League, and 1 bonus point for each goal up to 3 scored by a team. So right now, if the game should end with Dallas winning it by a score of 1-0, they would get 7 points, and the Aztecs would leave Dallas still in a tie for first place.
That's right. It's going to be a close race, and it's one that the Aztecs would like to come in here and take away from because, as I say, with them being so close to each other in the standings.
Aztecs trying to get the attack going, but instead it's Cooley playing the long ball now. And a foot race going on the far side. Mahavlich wins it and passes it back to Rigby, and Rigby throws it upfield to Johnny Mason. Johnny Mason over to Bernie Fagan. Fagan playing it back to Terry Mancini. Mancini now having to retreat back inside of his defensive area. And kind of winds up and boots this one long. Meyernick intercepts it. Now Mason over to Sybil. Sybil playing a long ball, trying to get it into Steve David. David had his man beaten there, but they couldn't quite get the ball to him. Fine header that time by Ani Mahavlich as the Aztecs beginning to put the pressure on as Bobby Sybil playing it up to Bacos. Bacos going by one man over to Steve David. David plays it ahead. Bacos on the foot race. Cooper coming out of the net to make the save. And Des Bacos a little slow getting up this time. Now he bounces to his feet.
Well, we've had a bit of a clash there between George Lay and he went over there and said something to Des Backus. I think he felt that Backus probably should not have carried on and hit the ball against Cooper, but it's a free ball and you must go for it.
Take another look at that now as we have a goal kick coming up.
The ball is intercepted there by Martin Cohen, pushed off to Des Backus. Des beats his player, Steve David pushes it through for Des Backus. I thought it was a good play, and Des Backus did his job well, but Cooper beat him to the ball. It's a corner kick as taken by Hinton on the far side.
Hinton now with the corner kick. Or rather, he does not take the corner kick. They play it short to Hinton. Hinton trying to get it in. Sliding tackle by Johnny Mason. Hinton takes a shot that is high, wide, and handsome, and long and far. So Rigby this time will have a goal kick set up for himself. And Rigby now beginning to play it forward. He wants to punt this one upfield. 5 minutes, 43 seconds left to play in the game. Aztecs trail 1-0. Ball at midfield, right at the midfield stripe. Mahavlich playing it up to Bobby Sybil. Sybil getting by one Tornado player, working his way, and then chips it into the penalty area where Steve David going up for it couldn't quite get to it. Des Backus, or rather Martin Cohen, racing after it, centers it out into the middle. This is Backus chasing after it, but Mahavlich says, let me take this one, I got it. Passing it right up the slot into the D. And offside was called against the Aztecs.
That's right, they were caught in the offside position. They didn't get back quick enough, and when Mahavlich played it through, he caught 2 men offside.
I hope you were with us at halftime with Norm Jackson, the Lord of Liverpool, showing on the magnetic board exactly what offside is. It's not too difficult to understand, and when you come out to the game, you can watch for it.
There's a lot of judgment in the referee for the offside rule.
There is indeed. Also, the linesman helping out, but the referee does not have to take them. He can overrule.
Yes.
Played down the left wing side to Bobby Sybil. Sybil kicking it into the middle now. And sent out and cleared away by Dallas.
The Aztecs are getting the ball into the middle.
Fagan now with the throw in at midfield. Closely marked by Kyle Rote. Gets over to Martin Cohen. Cohen heading it now. Des Backus with the ball. Finally playing it back to Sybil, but it's intercepted by O'Hare to Rote. Back to O'Hare at midfield now. O'Hare, little square pass over to Rote. Rote passing it ahead onto the right side to Ryan. Ryan right outside of the 35-yard line. He kicks one in, and Rigby coming out to make an easy save, and then just really throws the ball all the way to midfield. Again, Dallas, as Ryan has it. Ryan to Hinton. Hinton coming across the 35-yard line. Hinton still with the ball as he comes in, and then has it blocked away by Martin Cohen.
The Dallas back four, as we were talking about before, is fully control of this game. They're dominating it. Petcher, Thompson, Murnick, and they've got full control of the game.
Hinton throwing it in. Played to Hinton. Finally, Martin Cohen going after it in the corner. And it's going to be a goal kick now for the Aztecs. Remember, tickets to all the Aztec home games can be purchased with the Mutual and Liberty ticket outlets in the Southland at the Sports Arena or by contacting the Aztec offices at 373-8522. There are folks waiting to hear from you tonight, so give them a call. Come out and see the Aztecs play Atletico Español tomorrow afternoon at 3 at the Coliseum in an international game, as we're watching Bobby McAlinden now doing some nice faking, playing the ball ahead to Des Backus. Backus sends it in, intended that time for McAlinden. He couldn't get it. And so Mahavlich now on the left side, chipping it high into the air. Steve David trying to get after it. Ron Davies after it. But kicking it out of there was Roy Turner.
Well, this back four is covering so well. Murnick's covering well. Thompson, every time that the Aztecs try to penetrate in there, there's somebody on it.
2 minutes and 9 seconds left to play as the Aztecs again trying to get it into the middle, get something going. Shot taken, and Cooper got his hand on it, and it wasn't wide by much.
Give him a corner kick.
Yes, sir. We'll have a corner kick for the Aztecs with 1 minute and 56 seconds left to play in the game. Unless, of course, the Aztecs can send it into overtime. Bobby Sybil and McAlinden. I think Bobby McAlinden is going to take the corner kick for the Aztecs. Des Backus is now in the goal area, but it's headed out to midfield where Mahavlich is waiting for it now. O'Hare coming in to mark him and kicks the ball out of bounds. Mahavlich, a long throw intended for Steve David. David trying to get by Thompson, and he is tripped up and down he goes. And the ball going into the stands. A throw in now by Bernie Fagan on the far side to David. Bounces off David. And it's going to be a goal kick for Dallas.
I guess the Booster Club are all meeting together at hard times tonight, and I'm thinking it'll be very quiet down there at the moment, Gil. Very quiet.
Well, they had a fine crowd here tonight, certainly enjoying the game. 16,500 at Ownby Stadium on the campus of SMU in Big D, Dallas, Texas. This is Ryan on the far side of the field now. Ryan trying to get around, but Johnny Mason, a good sliding tackle. And Ryan is shaken up on the play. And the referee going over to see. He calls for the Dallas trainer to come out on the field.
I'm sure that the Dallas player is probably not as hurt as bad as he seems, but he was trying to lie there long enough to kill some of the seconds on the clock. So the referee will get him up or get him off the field and get this game on. But again, the Aztecs have only got themselves to blame, Gil. They've not been able to penetrate this back four. Possibly the midfield should have been a bit tighter. The passing's been a bit weak. But again, it's easy enough to sit up here and criticize, I suppose, but it's something that the players have to do. And I'm sure that they know themselves that they've tried the best they can. But again, when you've got a back four like the Dallas Tornadoes have, you know, it's a very difficult job you're on your hands to beat them.
All right, O'Hare into Hinton. Hinton taking it into the penalty box, taking a shot. And it is wide of its mark. Coming out, Terry Mancini chasing after it now. Plays it forward to Martin Cohen on the near sideline. Cohen marked there, but still gets the pass up to Bobby McAlinden. McAlinden passing to Des Bacos over the 35. Into Mason. Mason taking a shot into the middle. Steve David is there. Ron Davies is there, but they can't get the shot away. The scoreboard clock indicating 2 seconds left to play. And there's the end of the game. The referee, I guess, did not give them any injury time on that last injury.
No, it didn't seem like it. He just called the time, and probably the few seconds that he kept him down on the field. It's one of those things, and the Aztecs have lost their unbeaten record tonight, 1-0.
Well, we'll have some final comments, but that is the end of the game with the score. The Dallas Tornado 1 and the Los Angeles Aztecs 0. Kids are free. Parking is free. That's the Aztec policy for all league games this season at the Coliseum. Next Sunday, it's the Aztecs against Soccer Bowl runner-up Minnesota. The following Sunday, May 22nd, it's the Aztecs versus Vancouver, with the first 2,000 kids to get a free equipment bag courtesy of Sunkist. On Memorial Day, May 30th, Jack in the Box and Soccer will give this jersey free to the first 2,000 kids. Make your plans now to see exciting LA Aztec soccer at the Coliseum.